The sun burned white-hot over the forward operating base, baking the dust and the metal of the containers into a single, shimmering haze. Sergeant Liam Cole stood apart from the chatter of the prep range, his hands moving with a quiet, practiced rhythm over the rifle on the bench before him. It wasn't the sleek, modular M4 variant the rest of his Special Forces team carried. It was an M14, a relic from a bygone era, its walnut stock worn smooth in places by decades of use, the steel showing a soft patina under the desert glare. To the team, it looked like something from a museum. "Hey, Grandpa," called a wiry, tattooed operator named Vance, slapping a fresh magazine into his own rifle with a sharp click. "You sure that thing doesn't fire round balls? We're doing a kinetic entry drill, not reenacting Gettysburg." A ripple of laughter went through the group. Their team leader, Captain Riggs, a man carved from granite and efficiency, watched with a neutral expression. He'd allowed Cole to bring the antique on deployment, a concession he was beginning to question. Cole just smiled, a small, tight thing that didn't reach his eyes. He finished wiping down the old glass of the unertl scope mounted on the rifle, a long, slender tube that looked as outdated as the weapon itself. He didn't argue. He just loaded a 20-round box magazine, the brass cartridges looking somehow more substantial than the smaller 5.56mm rounds the others used. The drill was a standard house-clearing exercise in the mock-up village of plywood and cinder blocks at the range's edge. The objective was speed, violence of action, and tight communication. When Cole's turn came, he moved with a methodical, deliberate pace that seemed glacial next to the frantic, flowing aggression of his teammates. As they burst through doors, snapping shots at pop-up targets, Cole often held back, finding angles from windows or covered positions. His rifle spoke with a deeper, throatier crack compared to the sharp tat of the M4S, each shot deliberate. Vance, watching from the safety zone, snorted. "He's treating it like a damn sniper rifle. This is CQB, not a picnic." After the drill, the scoring screens told the story. Cole had the fewest shots fired and, by the team's metrics, the slowest time. But, beside his name was another number, 100% hit probability. Every one of his slow, deliberate shots had found its mark. Vance's was 78%. The laughter died, replaced by a prickly silence. Captain Riggs studied the readout. Then, Cole. "A clean sheet is a clean sheet, Sergeant," he grunted. But the unspoken sentiment hung in the hot air. In a real fight, his hesitation would get them killed. The old gun and its keeper were a curiosity, a slow-moving liability. The mocking didn't stop. It just became more pointed, veiled in a thin layer of professional disdain. The mission brief was all sharp edges and grim faces. Intelligence had a high-value target holed up in a remote compound nestled in a rocky valley. The approach was a nightmare, a single, exposed wadi for approach, with overwatch positions on two dominating ridges. The team's job was to get in fast, secure the target, and get out faster. Satellite imagery showed the ridges were likely clear, but Riggs wasn't taking chances. "Vance, take Miller and set up on the eastern ridge. Provide cover for our approach." "Cole," he said, the pause slight, but noticeable. "You're with the main assault element. Keep that cannon pointed where it can do some good." The implication was clear: stay out of the way. Under a moonless sky, the team moved like ghosts through the dusty wadi. Cole, carrying the heavier M14 and its specialized ammunition, felt the weight of every skeptical glance. They were halfway to the compound when the night exploded. The ridges weren't clear. Muzzle flashes, not from their overwatch, but from the western ridge, lit up the darkness. It was an ambush, perfectly sprung. Rounds snapped overhead, ricocheting off rocks with vicious whines. The team was pinned, exposed in the barren riverbed. "Overwatch. Vance, what do you see?" Riggs barked into the radio, pressing himself into a shallow depression. Vance's voice came back, strained. "We see them. Western ridge, multiple shooters. They're at extreme range, maybe 800 meters. We're engaging, but it's marginal." The tat-tat of Vance's M4 sounded thin and futile across the vast distance. The enemy fire, from heavier PKM machine guns and Dragunovs, was relentless and accurate. They were trapped. Then, a different sound cut through the chaos. A single, resonant crack. It came from behind a rock slightly to the left of the main group. Cole. He had unfolded the bipod legs of his M14, his body a line of intense concentration behind the long scope. Another crack. On the ridge, a muzzle flash vanished. Hit, Cole said, his voice calm, almost detached. He worked the bolt, the empty cartridge spinning away in a slow, golden arc crack. Another flash disappeared. The enemy fire faltered, confused. He wasn't just suppressing. He was surgically removing the threats, one precise 7.62 millimeters round at a time. The fight became a duel. The enemy, now aware of the deadly accurate fire from the wadi, focused their attention on Cole's position. Rounds began to chew the rock face around him, dust and stone chips stinging his face. But Cole had chosen his spot with care. He was in a shallow defilade, only the rifle and his scope exposed. His breathing was slow, controlled. He wasn't just shooting. He was reading the battlefield, the pattern of the flashes, the tracer streams, the faint silhouettes against the slightly lighter sky. Each shot was a calculation of wind, drop, and movement. In his mind, the loud, mocking voices of the range fell away, replaced by the calm, steady instructions of an old Marine gunnery sergeant who had first placed this rifle in his hands years ago. "This ain't a spray-in, pray toy boy," the old man had said. "This is a truth-teller. It don't lie, and it asks you not to lie either. Every shot's a sentence. Make it count." Back in the wadi, the team was in stunned motion. He's silencing them," Riggs muttered, watching through his night vision. He keyed his radio. "Vance, what's your status?" Vance's voice was different now, stripped of its arrogance. "We're still engaging, but Cole's doing the work. He's hitting them at our max range like it's nothing." "What is that? An 800-meter shot with iron sights?" "It's not irons," Riggs said, a piece of the puzzle clicking into place. That old unertl scope was a fixed-power, ultra-precise instrument from a time when optics were built for one thing only, delivering a round exactly where it was aimed. It had no batteries to die, no illumination to fail. It just worked. Cole fired again. A machine gun fell silent. The weight of enemy fire was lifting. The assault element could move. Riggs made a decision. "Cole, you are now primary overwatch. Vance, support him. Suppress any new flashes he identifies. Everyone else, on me. We're moving to the compound." The order was a total reversal, a complete validation in the middle of hell. Cole didn't acknowledge. He was in the zone. Eject. Load. Settle. Breathe. Squeeze. The rifle cracked its truth across the valley. A tense quiet settled over the valley, broken only by the distant shouts from the now-secured compound. The assault had succeeded with no friendly casualties, the enemy's teeth pulled by the precise, terrifying fire from the wadi. As dawn's first light painted the ridges in pale gray and pink, the team regrouped at the compound. Cole was last to arrive, the heavy M14 slung across his back, his face smeared with dust and gunpowder. The team watched him approach. The silence now held no mockery, only a raw, unfamiliar respect. Vance stood near a bullet-pocked wall, his own rifle looking almost toy-like in comparison. He met Cole's eyes, then looked away, a muscle twitching in his jaw. Finally, he stepped forward. He didn't offer a hand. He just nodded at the rifle. "That old gun," Vance began, his voice rough. "It's not the gun, is it?" Cole unslung the weapon, his hands gentle on the worn wood. He looked at it, then at the team. "This was a gift. From a man who taught me that the most important part of any weapon isn't the barrel or the trigger. It's the space between the ears. He called this a dope rifle. Meant you had to know the dope, the data, for every shot. Wind, range, angle. It forces you to be better. Slower is smoother. Smoother is faster, in the end." Captain Riggs walked up, his assessment complete. "We exfil in 10. Good work, everyone." He paused in front of Cole. "Sergeant, from now on, you're our designated marksman. Use whatever rifle you deem appropriate." He almost smiled. "Just try to keep up on the run back." A faint, real chuckle moved through the team. It wasn't mocking. It was inclusion. As they policed their brass and prepped for extraction, Vance moved closer to Cole, his earlier bravado gone. "That scope. How do you even range with it?" Cole handed him the rifle, a gesture of profound significance. "See those marks on the turret? It's a different language. Let me show you." As the helicopters thundered in, the two soldiers stood heads bent over the old rifle, the student now ready to learn, the teacher finally accepted. The weapon was a bridge, its first lesson being that respect, like precision, is earned one careful, honest shot at a time.